All of this, Major Garrett joins us from our Washington bureau. Major, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start off with Congress. How are members of both parties reacting to all of this?
Well, I can tell you from the White House perspective, they were bracing for a lot more criticism than they received, at least in the first 24 to 48 hours. Talked to one official who said, well, there is always a benefit to setting expectations so very low. That was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but the White House sees many Democrats as skeptical but ultimately persuadable. They believe many Republicans will remain both skeptical and possibly entrenched in their opposition to this deal as it emerges and the negotiations go on. But the White House believes they'll have many more Democrats with them after the public hearings and classified briefings are completed.
If they're persuadable, Major, how does the president persuade them?
The president does it by deploying every single political tool in his toolbox, starting with himself, Vice President Joe Biden, Secretary of State John Kerry, the Treasury Secretary Jack Lew, everyone on his national security team, and the larger peace conversation, if you will, within the Democratic Party. The president will argue, I campaigned a long time ago for this office, pledging multilateral approach to difficult issues that bring to bear economic pressure and avoid war. I have done precisely that. I need every one of you in the Democratic Party in the political trenches to back me up on this, call members of Congress, and make your voice heard. That will be part of this selling process.
He also needs the support of Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister there. How are those conversations going at this point?
Well, he's not going to get the support from Benjamin Netanyahu, it looks at this point, unless the deal changes dramatically from the framework that's already been laid out. And that's simply not going to happen. Things will be specified. There'll be more details about the timing and how rapidly inspections can be carried out if there's disagreement under this deal. But Benjamin Netanyahu is not ultimately going to be a supporter. What the president has to do is convince members of Congress that that is an important voice, but it shouldn't be the dominant voice in this debate. His and our allies in Europe who also support this deal should outweigh the Israeli prime minister. That will be the president's argument.
The president's been working towards this, Major, virtually for his entire administration. I mean, to what degree do you think this is going to determine his legacy?
Well, that's always left to historians, I would say, but you can look at it this way. In the second term, there is no greater legacy item for this president. And on the diplomatic stage, it might be the most important legacy item for his entire presidency. And it's worth remembering, this journey began in July of 2007 when at a Democratic debate, then Senator Obama, in response to a YouTube question, would you negotiate with America's worst, most entrenched dictatorial enemies, said, yes, I would. He was criticized by Hillary Clinton, by Republicans, and by most of the foreign policy establishment. He won the presidency, a Nobel Peace Prize, has been pursuing this deal ever since. He is looking for his historical and political vindication.
Major Garrett in our Washington bureau this morning. Thank you, Major.